Hey guys, Jen here. I hope everybody is doing well. So I tried to make this video a few times and it's just a short and sweet video. I'm not sure what went on, but here's the 11th millionth time. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and I will cover some of that in the next several videos. However, sometimes in this journey you get a piece of the puzzle and things kind of come together and you didn't plan on it, or something that you're alerted to way back comes back to the forefront, and you finally are able to put it together and figure out what it meant and why it was put in front of you. And that's what this video is about. Now, it is said that their signs and their symbols shall be their downfall, and I'm going to ask you something at the end of this short video. Well, I'll ask you now. Do you know anyone who has these signs or symbols or alerts on their social media account? Now, I've told you about in other videos about certain things with the cats, and then with the babies being posted on Instagram with wads of money next to them and a phone number. And when I noticed the girls were like selling themselves right out in the open on Instagram, that's when I left social media. I told you about all of this. And there are a couple of videos on this channel where I show you real examples of how I believe these people communicate, because they can't do anything that's going to leave a paper trail. They can't write any letters that are specific, okay? Everything has to be generic. It has to look like junk mail. It has to look unimportant and inconspicuous. May 17th, 2018, you're going to say, Jen, why are you saying that date and how do you remember it? At that point in time, I was starting to wake up a little bit, and it's right before the trip to Florida, and I knew my family was treating me different. Things felt different, and I wasn't really sure what was going on. Now, again, there are personal things that come into that as well, so, I'm not suspecting anything supernatural or anything like that, especially at that point. But I was waking up and God was opening my eyes to certain things, and I started noticing changes in behavior and certain signs and symbols. Now, on May 17th, 2018, my spouse received a bunch of chain letters, basically, on his Facebook account. At this point in time, I was able to access his. I think I had made that account for him, and I had just seen that he had gotten these emails or these messages, right? And they're generic. He didn't say anything back, but one of them was from my sister. Now, my sister has always been on the other team. She went to Christian school. I was thrown into public school, being the black sheep that I am, but she and my siblings got private school. But make no mistake, she's always been on the other team. I mean, she was 10 or 11 years hanging out at the local Chinese restaurant and was getting in trouble for hanging out with Chinese gangs and stuff. Like, she was just not... I love her. She's my sister. But we've talked about that before, too, and how an account with her picture is harassing me on this platform using my name, saying, hello, it's me, Jen Marie. That is the handle of that person in that account. And I showed you that. This is something that might help all of you, though. I tell you about these things so that you can observe those around you and their changes in behavior. And so you know if you need to be on guard and if that person is untrustworthy. Because these people are getting into a reprobate point where there will be no return soon. They are severely lacking in their basic general knowledge, especially when it comes to personal care and care for one's basic needs and environment. And again, I'll get into that too, because I'm seeing a lot of signs and symbols that are manifesting rather literally. There's a verse in the Bible that says, in the end times, men will be lovers of self and incontinent, meaning lack self-control. But I'm seeing a lot of people like Shania Twain wearing diapers, and this adult diaper thing becoming some basic common, people wearing diapers to wait in line at concerts. And it's just, I don't know where I'm at anymore, man. So anyway, I had noticed that this chain letter had went out, and I was always sus of chain letters. My mom, being who she is, oh, Jenny, don't you want to get money? You've got to return these. You could be cursed. It's only $1, Jenny. And I wouldn't do any of that stuff then. And again, my upbringing was really weird the more I think about it these days. But I wouldn't participate in that. And I didn't participate in it on Facebook. And it would irritate people. But I started seeing these same groups of people, right, doing these same things. And then these people started new Facebook accounts. And they put their profile pictures up sideways. Now you're looking at Crabby, or Mr. Krabs here, and he relates, trust me. Again, these people are telling us what they're doing to us, especially those of us who are waking up in this time. I know that we are waking up and God is talking to us, and I know He's talking to a lot of you out there as well, and it is because we are of the lost tribes. This is why we are in families where we might not even be related, because they don't want us to know who we are, where we're from, and they don't want us migrating to this place together in the end days. They are trying to delay things, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing like this struggle of like these people trying to look like they're in control, but they're doing too much. They're doing their own thing, and then they're having to claim responsibility for some of these supernatural events that we're seeing take place across the globe. At least we're seeing it on cameras. Let's be real careful with that too, because of special effects. We know that all the Hollywood people disappeared a few years ago in 2019 when they did that John Lennon song. Where did they go? What happened to them? We'll talk about that in another video. So not only did these people who I had sold makeup with online and relatives start turning their picture sideways on new Facebook accounts, like they knew what they were doing with pictures. These were people who used Photoshop, background eraser, GIMP. Like we got really into it, and I learned algorithms like a mad woman, right? Like algorithms are like the super highways of computers, and if you get on that right freeway and you're in the right algorithm, that's when you could organically go viral. But I noticed that these people were doing things like that. Like they uploaded these profile pictures onto new accounts sideways. And I even messaged a couple people like, hey, I see you started a new account. Can I ask why? Because I'm still friends with you on your old account. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So then, after I was battered, right after my husband, the spouse, was left out of jail on January 11th, 2019, when I had the back of my ear sew back on, and I believe they put some type of tracker chip on me, but I believe we've all been monitored our whole lives because they knew who we were, and they didn't want us knowing who we were. So if you are of the lost tribes, if you've been waking up these last few years, if you totally know God is calling you home, wherever that might be, then you're probably of one of these lost tribes. And I'm getting chills just talking about it. If I could show you, I would. I don't want this to be too long. I'm almost done. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I promise there's a payoff at the end, because you got to watch for these habits. And I'm talking quickly because I have, other things to do, and I don't want this to be super long. So not only did they do that, but on these new accounts, it said that they worked at the Crabby Patty. Now, I tried many different ways to punch in that I worked at the Crabby Patty, and Facebook would not allow me to do it. But this group of people was able to do this. And again, they all had their profile picture sideways. They oftentimes, they would have their profile picture sideways with the dark glasses on, sometimes with the safety vest. I saw a video yesterday with alleged archaeologists wearing safety vests, and they look no older than 12. I'm not sure who these people think they're fooling. I know they've taken over the world, and they're giving us fake media, and that's how they're doing it. But if you can't see what's happening at this point, I don't know what to tell you. Even people who say they're Christians, but they're sucking up to this agenda or this infantile behavior. Again, you've got to watch for these signs and symbols. Now, again, I don't think they're doing it for karma. They could care less. They know where they are. They do this false reincarnation thing. That's why they don't care that they're all being dissed right now, because those spirits of those people have moved on, right? And so they're allowing these old idols to be taken down and just defamed, right? Like Diddy and Carter and probably Beyonce in some manner of speaking. Again, I don't think that's really the original woman. That's just my opinion. So how do they show us, and what do they do? Now, this is, again, I think it's them playing with us. They do it for entertainment. This is Mr. Krabs, and he has surveillance cameras. I didn't see all the episodes. I was at work, but my husband made sure my children watched this show. He made sure they had Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards. And let me tell you, there's something to the theory that all those things, again, are of the other team. They're of darkness, because I've seen these things affect my family in very negative, very dark ways, in ways that I can't even tell you they're so dark. So, what is this about? There are 2 episodes that I found so far, but apparently this is rather a big rabbit hole. Accidents Will Happen is season 8, episode 1, and then there's another one, season 5. I forget what that one's called, but in Accidents Will Happen, Squidward fakes an injury to get out of work. Mr. Crab has surveillance cameras installed, and he watches everybody. But this isn't the only episode. These cameras are brought up more and more. He even has one inside of Sandy's dome. Okay? Now, this tells you about the whole episode if you want to read that out. But they are telling us. This is how they are telling us what they're doing. They've been watching us this whole time. They've had cameras in the walls, little sensors, since we were children. This is how your parents always kind of knew what you were doing, and they had a sixth sense. Now, some of us actually have that, I'm not going to lie. But these individuals who have shuffled the families around and shuffled the bloodlines and have done all this damage control, obviously they're very scared, okay? But they are putting it out in front of us, what they're doing. You have to dig a little bit, but it's there. So I have to ask you, do you know anyone who has changed their social media accounts, who started new social media accounts, who put their profile pictures up sideways, who maybe have a problem with their teeth now, who wear the really dark sunglasses even when they're inside, especially in pictures in front of cameras? I wonder why that is. Do their eyes give something away when they're taken, when their picture is taken? What are we dealing with here? Do you know somebody who has their employer as being Mr. Krabs, and that their place of employment is the Krabby Patty? Now, again, this gets very creepy. We are going to talk more about this. I'm going to do a live stream where I need your help, because we're going to look at typecasting. I do have a theory that something about TV is real. Something about the screen is real. Maybe not of these big stars who give interviews all the time, but of a lot of these B movies, and a lot of people who are typecasted. I started noticing things when I was watching the Golden Girls, and then when I watched interviews with those ladies afterwards, and how certain people disappear, and it's very nefarious. But we're going to look into that, and I know it sounds very fringe, but it's something that we have to talk about, because it's wild. But hopefully the butterfly effect will work with this. Hopefully this will be passed around, and certain things will start to alert people when they see them. Hey, that's new. Hey, this behavior, I've not seen this before. You know, and they do it every day. For example, if you know adults who send you nothing but emojis, they are trying to curse you. Cut off ties with that person. Those are sigils. If you draw them with a regular, just straight lines, all of those images are sigils. I could go on and on all day, but I won't here in this video. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging in with me. Watch for their signs and symbols. They don't talk to each other through emails and on telephones. It's too easy for them to get caught. They do it through news stories, through media, through very things that look very inconspicuous. All right, guys, thanks for being here. I'm going to do a live soon, today or tomorrow, with a reading, but then I won't be able to do a live stream for a few days. So just watch for an upload. Talk to you.